All right, so let's review our algebra concepts. So first, some vocabulary. A variable is a letter that stands for an unknown quantity. It's a number that we don't know. And then you have a constant. A constant is something that stays the same. Basically, it's a number. You have your operation, which is what are you doing? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. You have an expression, which it needs a constant, an operation, and a variable. Remember, it doesn't have to be in that order. And it does not have an equal sign. An expression is just part of the equation. An equation is a statement that two mathematical expressions are equal. All right, this one does have an equal sign. So let's look at a couple examples. So first one, the sum of 7 and a number t. I'm going to use my highlighter tool. So first, I'm going to look for my constant. Well, I see 7 here. That's going to be a constant. And then I have an operation, sum. Sum tells me that I'm going to be adding. And then I have my variable, a number. And in this case, it tells me the number is represented by the letter t. So let's get our pen tool out. So I know that sum means I'm going to be adding. 7 is the number 7, and the number is t. Obviously, this isn't in the right order. So I need to think, what am I really doing here? The sum of 7 and a number t. So sum means I'm going to be adding. So 7 plus t. Now I need to check myself. Does this show me the sum of 7 and some number that is represented by t? 7 plus t. Yeah, it does. Let's look at the next one. 5 less than a number. All right, so I'll get my highlighter out. 5 is my constant, because 5 is always 5. My operation, less than, and my variable is a number. I don't know what it is, my unknown number. Okay, so 5 is represented by the number 5. Less than. How do I get less than? I need to subtract. And then a number, let's call it n. All right, so 5 minus n. Is that what my problem's saying? My problem's asking me for 5 less than a number. This is one of those tricky wordings that you need to watch out for. So let's imagine that this doesn't say a number. Let's imagine that this says 8. All right, replace that word, a number, with just an actual number, 8. 5 less than 8. Well, how do I get 5 less than 8? I know it's 3, but how did I figure that out? I did 8 minus 5 in my head equals 3, right? Do you agree that 5 less than 8 would be 3? Yeah. So now all I need to do is replace that 8 with an n. N minus 5. Now I don't know what it equals because this is an expression and we don't know what it equals. But does this show me 5 less than a number? Yeah, it does. So if you get in a situation where you really don't know if this is in the right order, replace your variable with a number that you do know, figure it out, and then put the symbol back in. 3 times a number decreased by 11. All right, get that highlighter out. My constant is 11. My operation, I have times, and I have decreased. I also see here another constant that I missed, the number 3. Everyone makes mistakes. And variable is just a number. All right, so let's get our pen out. I have 3 times, means multiply, a number. How do I decrease? By subtracting. And then my constant, 11. All right, let's see. 3 times a number decreased by 11. Let's start with that first thing. 3 times a number. Well, if I wanted to multiply, remember multiplication, you could do the x up here, or you could just do the dot. So 3 times this number, and then I want to decrease that answer by 11. Minus 11. Good. All right, the next one we want to look at is the product of a number and 6. All right, get our highlighter. 6 is our constant. Our operation is the product, and then our variable is whatever this number is. Let's get our pen tool out. Product means multiply. A number, we'll call it n, and then 6. Obviously, this one is not in the right order, so we need to think. The product of a number and 6. Well, we need to make it n times 6. Does this show me the product of some number and 6? Yeah, it does. The product of a number and 8 is 48. Here's where we start to get into equations. Remember back here we talked about equations do have an equal sign. They tell you that these two mathematical expressions are equal. So we're going to add a whole nother highlighter color. All right, let's do our constants first. 8 is a constant and 48 is a constant. The product is our operation, which tells us we're going to multiply. A number is our variable. And now we have something new to look at. The word is. Is where we know we're going to put our equal sign. So let's go through. The product means we're multiplying. A number, we'll call it n. 8. Is stands for that equal sign. And then 48 is another constant. So now let's, obviously this isn't in the right order. So the product of a number and 8 is 48. All right, something times 8 is going to give you 48. Does this show me that the product of some number and 8 will give you 48? Yeah, it does. Here's where equations are different, because you could probably solve this. Most of us know in our head what the answer is going to be, right? We know that 6 times 8 is 48 because you know your fast facts. You don't need to solve this in 5th grade, though. All you need to be able to do is turn it from word form into this standard form. All right, let's try this next one. Twice a number is 28. So 28 is going to be our constant. I see where it says my variable is a number. All right, here's the tricky part with this one. It's why I put it in here. What is the operation? I don't see anything that says sum or difference, product, you know, total, less than. But I do see the word twice, all right? And here's where you need to pay attention. Twice a number. Well, here, let's go back to when we were replacing a number with an actual number, all right? So let's do 3. What is twice 3? Twice 3 is 6. How did I figure that out? Well, I know that if I do 3 2 times, it would be 6, right? If I have 1, 2, 3, and I do it twice, how many times did I do it? 2 times. So when you see that word twice, that means 2 times. And then we got to get out our other handy highlighter because we see the word is. So 2 times some number is 28. All right, so just like we looked at over here, remember you replaced a number with the number 3? Our thing is going to look just like this. It's going to be 2 times our number is 28. Or it could look like this. 2 and then the number right next to it. If you see a number just sitting next to a variable like this, it means multiply. That's what it means. Or it could have that dot next to it. Ooh, my dog's going on a walk. All right, let's do the last one. 5 less than 3 times a number is 46. Holy guacamole, I saved the hardest one for last. All right, get out your highlighters. Here's where you can pause it and try this one on your own. I would encourage you to just pause your video, try to do this on your own, see what you get, and then compare it to how I do it and see if you're on the right path. All right, so pause now and try it on your own. All right, hopefully you did that. All right, 5 is a constant, 3 is a constant, 46 is a constant. All right, variables. I see a number, that means variable. I see the word is, which tells me that's our equal sign. Now let's look for operations. I see less than, and I see times. All right, now let's get our pen, and this time I'm actually going to use it in the same color as what we've been highlighting in, just to keep us on the right track, because this is kind of a complicated one. So 5, 3, 46. Okay, I know is my equal sign. I know a number is going to be my variable. All right, 5 less than, this tells us to subtract, and then times, this time I'm just going to do my dot instead of the x. All right, so now I need to put this in the right order. So 5 less than 3 times the number is 46. All right, I'm going to keep the equals and the 46 here because that's the only thing on that side, so I know that has to be in the right order. Let's focus on just this part. 5 less than 3 times the number. I think it's easier to work on one side at a time because the is going to separate one expression from the other. So if you can just figure out each side on its own, it's going to be a little bit easier than trying to attack it all at once. So we have the is 46, so we're done with that right side. Let's focus on this. 5 less than 3 times the number. Tackle this just like you do expressions. You know how to do this. All right, we can even break it into, now we know 3 times the number is going to be 3 times n. And how could we figure out 5 less than 3 times the number? That's that tricky one where I want you to replace that with an actual number. Let's replace it with 10. All right, what is 5 less than 10? 5. How do I know that? Because if I take 10, I subtract 5, I get 5. So 5 less than 10 is 5. So 5 less than 3n looks the same way. You put them in the same position. All right, so I need to just copy that into my equation. And my spacing's not amazing, but it's fine. So 5 less than 3 times a number, that's this side, is 46. This is what you got. Give yourself a pat on the back, kiss your brain, because you are a smarty. All right, if you need any help, go ahead and watch this video again. If you're still confused, maybe pause it after I read each problem and try those on your own, and I have just given you the answers. So now you have 2, 4, 6, 7 problems that you could be doing on your own and practicing.